So who killed the Grand Inquisitor? Was it the Padawan? Or was it the Padawan of the Padawan? Or was it the youngling? Or was it just some random person? Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Folks, I don't have my Prevail Man account anymore. However, I do still have my Professor X account, which is a 7 million GP account. It's got 2 Galactic Legends, and almost everyone that I face, because I'm in Kyber 2, has way more Galactic Legends than me. I mean, most of my thumbnails just involve saying, hey look, how many Galactic Legends I'm facing compared to what I normally have. I'm typically facing 4 to 5, sometimes even 6 Galactic Legends with my 2, so I'm going to be using a lot of off-meta counters and everything. I'm also going to be using, well, okay, so it says without Datacrons, and I'm sorry for that if that's misleading. I apologize. I am going to be using Datacrons just a little bit on this account because you can, and I want to see what I can do as completely without investing in it, other than putting some Shard Shop currency into it. Nothing else. Shard Shop currency and whatever we get in Conquest, but it's going to be completely free to play, at least that aspect of it. This account is typically pretty free to play. You know, every once in a while we'll spend just a little bit, or if someone wants to donate money for a project like Executor, then we'll jump on it. So let's actually jump into the game. I'll show you guys what I mean. So we've got some Datacrons here, guys. I've got a level 3 and the rest are level 1s, and I'll use them here and there. You guys can watch me stream. The video description has a link to my Twitch channel. I have a pretty set schedule, and what I need to do is publish the schedule, actually. I'll be looking into doing that in the next couple days, but I think you'll be able to find a time that I stream that's friendly for you, maybe all my times. Who knows? It'd be fun, guys. It's fun to hang out on the stream. We get a pretty big crowd sometimes, and it's a good time. Twitch is not difficult to use either. I used to be afraid of it. I thought it was going to be really complex. It's not bad. It's not bad. That being said, I want to show you guys the teams I'm going to be using. They're not going to change that much, but every season I get asked what teams I'm going to be using on Professor X, and my roster's evolved. It's changed. All the teams are going to be a little bit different. So let's look at it, folks. Let's look at what teams I have available and the ones that I want to use. So first we've got, and I'll try to differentiate which teams are going to be on offense, which ones are going to be defense, etc. Though a lot of times they're going to be kind of fluid. So here's the thing: the Jedi are typically all going to be on offense. So those are the 2 Galactic Legends that I have. I have Jedi Master Kenobi and Jedi Master Luke, and I mean they're pretty fancy and all that, but the way I split them is what's really important here, guys. So typically with this account, I have to play somewhat heavily efficiency because I'm going to be taking out a bunch of Galactic Legends. I need my best tools available for that, and that's going to be Jedi Master Luke and Jedi Master Kenobi. And so they'll be able to take out whichever Galactic Legends I need. But I think the most important part is how you're splitting the rest of your Jedi. If you're going to be splitting your Jedi in a way that you can take out more Galactic Legends, that's probably the right answer, frankly. You want, so this is the Jedi Revan team, and you can see how crazy low relics they are. I take out Supreme Leader Kylo with it, at least some variants. If they have like a Darth Revan variant with Kylo, like, you can't really use Jedi Revan here. You can kind of use it to help with the multi-shot, but it doesn't really work. Like, you can use troopers on that team, or Commander Luke, or something else, but can't really use Jedi Revan there. However, most people aren't sophisticated enough or brave enough to use that, and frankly, last time I used it, my opponent was just like, I guess I'll just use troopers, and so maybe they're not so foolhardy as to use it anyways. But here's the thing: this Jedi Master Luke team is good enough to take out basically any Rey build that I've seen. The thing you want to be careful with Jedi Master Luke against Rey is you don't want Hoda in there, because Rey is going to get her mastery and her whole team's mastery turbo boosted because of Hoda. Every time he does a basic, he's going to be feeding turn meter to his team, which is normally fancy and fine, but that also means 25 extra mastery for every single time he does his basic. It's pretty brutal. So this is the team, guys. It's not bad. I have a lot of relics on it now because of requirements, but that's how it works. Jedi Revan, I mean, I can only take out mid-level Supreme Leader Kylos. I do need a few more relic levels here, but this is the team, and the mechanics work pretty well. I can usually, at the very least, I can take out all but Supreme Leader Kylo, and then we can finish him off. So those are on offense, and then almost always we have Jedi Master Kenobi. He's only Relic 7 now, because, gosh, I just don't... I'm farming stuff for Starkiller right now, and I don't have the wherewithal to get him to Relic 8, really. So, and Relic 7 has been fine for him. He's got this pretty standard, like, you want Cat on his team, you want Ahsoka, like, you want the double to Gru to line up, and then you want, like, General Kenobi is great there, just because he does great things. Eventually, once I get Starkiller, Kenobi's gonna migrate away, and we'll have to find, like, we'll have to upgrade, like, Plo Koon or something. You don't want, guys, keep in mind, you don't want just Mace to be the main tank, because he gets rid of Taunt, and then you can start doing weird things, like... If you're worried about getting sniped, getting your cat sniped by bounty hunters or something, then like double tank is great. Mace is a wonderful like off tank for Jedi Master Kenobi, but keep in mind, Mace is not the primary tank. He can't be, because you can just dispel his taunt real easy once, because it's not a taunt, like it's a totally different buff that acts as a taunt, as opposed to Jedi Master Kenobi having specific interactions with taunting that make it so that you can't dispel Kenobi, his old self, or other taunts, so you can't dispel any other taunt until they're out of their bonus protection. And so, but Mace dispels his own taunt anyways. He's like, oh, it's cool, I've got my own buff, I'm better than that. And it's like, well, you're not, you're just actually just screwing me over, bud, because now anyone can dispel you, and then anyone can access and just snipe out Cat. So Mace is great here. He's also great other places, guys. If you want to use Padmé here or something, I mean, I've got a fairly eccentric use for Padmé down south, but Padmé's great here. Jedi Knight Anakin, if you don't have a Qui-Gon team, I mean, lots of good places. I mean, Ki-Adi-Mundi's even great here, even though some of his stuff is negated by the presence of Cat. He's still pretty good. He still adds things to the rest of the team. Alright, so we've got a Qui-Gon Jinn team, and this is looking pretty droopy, honestly, guys. I mean, so we've got kind of a tank here in Plo. I mean, I don't know what we're doing here, really. The main thing is, you want to make sure that you have all Galactic Republic here. You can see, okay, so Anakin takes a bonus turn, next attack deals 100% more damage if all allies were Galactic Republic at the start of the battle. So... You don't want to put Ezra here. People keep putting Ezra with Qui-Gon, and you don't want that. You want that extra 100% crit damage, guys. That is important. Now, if you want to boost this team with like Ki-Adi-Mundi and stuff, it can be really good if you put a fast Ki-Adi-Mundi on defense alongside Anakin. I mean, it can get pretty gross, guys. Ki-Adi-Mundi does some serious work, so definitely worth taking a look at. As it stands, keep in mind, you need Qui-Gon Jinn's Omicron to make this team worth a damn. I've seen a lot of people, just like randomly, they're like, oh, everyone else is putting Qui-Gon on defense, maybe I'll just throw mine on defense too. And they don't realize that the Omicron is the one doing all the work. So you may wonder why we have Elf Jedi here on the squad, and part of that is just because, well, the only reason is because she has really low health at this gear level, and so she's going to trigger Anakin right away, and you know, start getting everything rolling, because she won't die under Qui-Gon, at least until Qui-Gon is himself dead. So she'll just hang out there and take some damage. Like any casual damage is going to get Anakin's blood up, and that's the whole goal. She's just like an Anakin battery. It's kind of weird. So, all right. Speaking of battering Anakin, man, Relic 6 is so sad for General Skywalker. But 501st, I mean, it used to be he was a really important part of a couple different Galactic Legend counters, and now General Skywalker, guys, I like to put him on defense because it can mess with people. Like, sure, people use Commander Luke sometimes, but if they don't have a well-modded Luke, or if you just get lucky, I mean, there's a few different things that could happen, or if they just put Commander Luke on defense, if they're afraid to use Luke, a lot of times this team is going to just draw a Galactic Legend. So I like to put it on defense. The other reason is on offense, it has no way of regenerating protection unless you get lucky. If you have General Skywalker kneel, and then he gets up and then takes out the rest of the team before he loses any protection, then he can regenerate some protection. But otherwise, a lot of times if he falls over, then a lot of times you're kind of like rooting for 5s to die. And then you drop 3 more at banner. Like, it's a mess, guys. He kills stuff? Absolutely. He can even take out a lot of different Rey teams, but he's going to cost you a ton of banners. He's very effective at wrecking your own banners, and he's very effective at wrecking your opponent's teams. Now, this trooper team, gosh, it's just so ghetto, guys. It's not. I wanted to say it's not good, but it's not good. Here's the thing, guys. Dark Trooper is the power behind it, and I really should put more relics on him, but we're on an account-wide relic shortage right now, guys. Nobody's getting the relics they deserve, including my Galactic Legends. Well, one of them. Well, the other one got Relic 9, so so nah to Kenobi. But here's the thing, guys. Stark in range, they're fine here at Relic Gear 9. They don't need to do damage, they just facilitate. Range just helps everyone shoot out of turn. Stark helps fuel turn meter. I mean, so does range, for that matter. Piet is there to feed turn meter to Dark. Piet's gotta be fast, though, keep in mind. That's a clocking issue. I have a video out there talking about how to clock this team to make sure that everyone goes in the right order. Veers needs his Zeta, etc. Absolutely an offensive team, and this team, as hodgepodge as it is, consistently gets me pretty high banners against a lot of different teams. Like, usually a full 65. It can even beat like Darth Revan teams if you know how to do it. You just have to. Darth Revan teams, it gets real tense because there's no margin for error, and there's some RNG involved. Okay, so I took those troopers up top here because the Iden Versio squad, which is still a work in progress for me, of course, but you probably, if you have a better Stormtrooper with the Zeta and everything, probably better to put Stormtrooper here. But if you don't have Stormtrooper, Short Trooper can work just fine. She does kind of want a tank, though, in 5v5 at least. And then you want Death Trooper because he does obnoxious, awesome things. Iden Versio herself, you can put her Omicron on. I was a little bit premature with putting it on, but it's done okay. You can put it on defense. You just have to be careful. If your opponent has Wampa, or if they have a really strong Traya team, this isn't going to pose them much of a threat. I mean, also, you have to keep in mind, too, that, they can use BAM as well against this if they have the right composition. Like, there's a few different teams that beat this team on defense, but Wampa is the biggest scare. Conversely, on offense, they can beat a lot of different teams because Iden gets 100% turn meter, etc. if she has the right team composition. Make sure to read carefully. Don't put Dark Trooper in there. Don't put other troopers with leadership, etc. But this is a very strong team, even at low gear. And as I continue to add more gear, this team becomes more and more potent, more stronger. This is actually one of the teams that may end up getting one of the Omicrons. Or, sorry, one of the Datacrons. One of the Crons, guys. I already got one Cron. How bad could another one be? So, General Grievous, guys, one of my very favorite squads and this is offense, almost always, because you can kill a couple different Galactic Legends with it if they have the right builds. And other than that, I mean, it kills Starkiller teams if you play it right, and you don't get really bad RNG, but you still hurt the Starkiller team almost always. And then, I mean, it takes out a ton of other stuff. It takes out Commander Luke teams. It takes out everything that, I mean, is susceptible to turn meter manipulation, and they do it really well. People say that it's an inefficient squad, and I mean, it feels that way because you generally are going to lose at least 2 protection banners, one from Magna Guard, one from B2. But what ends up happening is that the rest of them, like B1, is usually, I mean, unless he's dead, he gets full banners for health and protection because he's only got 1 hit point, and he's got the stacks. You guys can read his kit if you don't know what I'm talking about. We have General Grievous, who typically is going to be full health and protection at the end because B1 is compulsively healing him, and then Newt Gunray, usually he'll die at this gear level, but he's fine, honestly. I mean, he does okay. So, yeah, he can die, and then he goes into stealth, and then B1 can just heal him. And usually you just drop 2 banners, so it's like a 63 banner win. It takes up Mon Mothma teams. It's very, very, very flexible on offense. On defense, it gets killed by a lot of things. So I think General Grievous should absolutely be on offense moving forward, guys. Alright, so I have Maul, but I don't have Lord Vader, so here's the comp that I am going to be using. So I don't really have a team that uses Watt specifically. I mean, he's a really good character, really great, and so it's nice to have him kind of, Maul can hook him up, or he can hook Maul up, rather. Maul's like, I don't hook people up, I just kill people. So the idea being, Watt's going to go first. Maul starts with Frenzy. So Watt goes first. He does a special. Doesn't matter what. Probably like weapons tech to Maul so that he gets more turn meter gain. But then what happens, Watt happens, is Maul takes his turn. He does his AoE to get to 5 stacks of Anguish. And then Canderous goes because he's been a good boy and assisting and gaining all sorts of turn meter, even though he's only gear 12, and I think mine is like maybe one of the slowest. He's probably like breaking records. Yeah, he's not even 200 speed, but because of the way the interactions go, like he's kind of bugged so that he gains too much turn meter because of everyone assisting, that he gets the next turn. Even with only 200 speed, he gets so much turn meter. He goes next. He does his AoE. That's another special. Triggers Maul, and Maul goes to town. So this team can beat a lot of really strong teams. I've killed Jedi Master Luke teams with it. It's very, very strong on offense, and it kills, another really great team to focus on is General Skywalker. This team will beat a General Skywalker team pretty consistently for really good banners if you can get that guy to sit down. He's kind of obnoxious like that. Alright, Commander Luke. This should be no secret, guys. Commander Luke and company. The thing that I think people lose sight of this. Like, they keep wanting to load this team full of offense, and I understand that. And offense is great. I mean, I do have offense on Luke. I mean, I have things that damage people on Luke and on Han, but then on Chewie, I just have a bunch of tenacity. And Luke, he even has 2 tenacity here, or 2 tenacity mods, I should say. He's over 110% tenacity, because Chupio hands out, he redistributes the leader's stuff. He redistributes the leader's stats, including max health, max protection, offense, defense, potency, and tenacity. So potency is nice, but tenacity is the bigger one. So you want Chupio to have some tenacity as well, because you don't. The thing is, guys, these guys are going to be countering General Skywalker teams a lot, and you can't have them dazed and confused. So you want a lot of tenacity on Chewie so he can assist a lot. 3PO, you want, if you can put tenacity on him, that's great. And Chupio also. The other 2 can't be dazed. So that, Han's like, what? That doesn't happen to me. Alright, Mon Mothma. This is actually fairly exciting, guys. I've had a filler character here for a long time, and now we can use Kyle Katarn instead. He's Relict. It's going to be Relic 5, hopefully, before lock. But one way or another, he's going to be an excellent addition to the team, guys. You get a lot of turn meter gain. Kyle Katarn, you kind of want fast-ish mods on him. You want to get him to, honestly, if you can get him to 280, that's so obviously I'm not there yet, but 280, and his offense sets are, like, get in there with offense, though. 280, once he gains all that extra turn meter, based off of his unique here, he gets 10% turn meter per rebel fighter ally. each other Rebel fighter ally. Remember, he doesn't gain 10% from Mothma or from himself because it's each other, and Mothra is not a Rebel fighter, but otherwise he gets to... he's going to be able to get 30% bonus turn meter, which means that at the start of the turn, or at the start of the match, if he's at 280, he starts at an effective 400 speed. So, I mean, 280 is kind of an arbitrary number, but it gets you to 400 speed, which is nice. You also kind of want a fast POW, which is why I don't really care right now, because my POW is only gear 12. But this team is going to be on offense for me for the first time in a while, guys, just because I want to see how Kyle Katarn does. It's okay on defense. Just remember that Iden is going to destroy this team for really easy banners, for like max banners. In fact, she can probably undersize. So on offense, though, you get max banners against most teams that you're facing. All right, next up is Emperor Palpatine with Mara Jade, Darth Vader, and then whoever else we want to hang out with. So, we could put a pre-taunt in there. We could just, all Empire. You can add Sith to it. Keep in mind that Sith are going to boost Vader's speed and everything and interact with Palpatine's leadership pretty well. But really, the underlying power of this team, because we don't have Starkiller yet, EP and Mara just, the fact that she's the Emperor's hand, they clearly designed her to boost Palpatine. That's just how it is. Like, I'm a little surprised that Mara Jade isn't like the mom of Rey. In fact, like, they seem like they're made for each other, guys. So it's kind of gross to think of, but Mara Jade is just very, very good with Palpatine, and that doesn't change once we get Starkiller. These two are going to go with them. Otherwise, this team takes out a lot of things. Like, I've actually even come very close to taking out a poorly modded, but still strong, well, comparatively strong Galactic Legend Rey, because you can abuse the stagger ability. Like, Rey isn't immune to stagger as long as you can get her whatever it's called, the thing with the stuff, the blue buffs on her that help her, not lose turn meter. But once you get rid of that, Inspired is what it's called. Once you get rid of Inspired on her, then you can keep triggering her stagger, and you can throw Thrawn in there to fracture. I've had Thrawn fracture her for like minutes at a time. In fact, even though he got nerfed a while ago, he still does that because you're taking so many turns with Mara Jade and Palp. So this team is decent, guys. You can take out most things as long as you have access to the turn meter train. One thing to keep in mind too, and this is maybe the slightly elitist of me, but keep in mind, if you really want the best Mara Jade possible, especially once you get Starkiller, you want her to be 365-ish speed, which is going to put her into the 400s. She's plus 70 with Starkiller. So this team is also very good on defense, though, if your opponent doesn't have really good speed mods. And if Mara gets to go first and you don't have a way to stop the turn meter train, like, she'll just destroy your team. There's no question. So keep in mind, this team is actually decent on defense as well. It's very efficient on offense, but defense is good too. Wampa is only on offense, and he'll womp some people. Keep in mind that Relic 5 is probably not enough to kill Sith Eternal Emperor, and not all Relic 8 Wampas are able to kill all Sith Eternal Emperors. So people say that Wampa is really good, and I agree. You just need to target the right teams, and sometimes the right teams is just nobody. You just don't choose anybody, because Wampa isn't going to be able to kill them. Not be able to kill everyone. Alright, so we have Darth Revan here. I have HK here. We could put Talon here instead. Keep in mind, you don't want Talon instead of Marauder here, because HK is not Sith. So you get a bonus from Darth Revan's leadership if everyone is Sith Empire. So if all allies are Sith Empire at the start of the battle, Sith Empire allies have plus 50% crit damage. That's pretty nice. It's a nice little boost. So HK is Sith Empire. You can see he's Sith Empire, but he's not Sith. There's no Sith about him. So you don't want to have HK in the same group as the what's her name is Talon. Like, you don't want HK and have Talon replace Marauder, just because Marauder is, I mean, he is Sith, and Talon has a lot of Sith-specific abilities that say, like, you have to have a full team of Sith. So HK ruins it for everyone, basically. You want to swap out Talon with HK directly. Keep in mind, Talon doesn't do much if your Darth Revan isn't fast. Mine is pretty quick on this account, 355. So with Talon, it would make her 375, or make him 375, and make this team very, very difficult to move. Remember, bounty hunters can still outspeed that fairly easily if they have a Zeta, or sorry, Omicron Zem. All right, next up, we have this Bando team, and you want the BAM trio, and you can put them on defense, you can put them on offense. I mean, they do a lot of work. If you want to have them effective on defense, you need a really fast Queel. Mine, I think I just stole a bunch of speed mods off of him because Mara Jade wanted to be fast. Yeah, you want him up to, I don't know, like 340. It sounds so ruinous. Like a plus 133 set is already pretty good for 315. If you want to get him another 25 speed, I mean, it feels so egregious and awful. But if you can do that, then it's good. Just keep in mind that even if you can't, you want Queel to be faster than everyone else, and then you want Bando to be the next fastest. So what'll happen is Queel will go first. He'll give everyone turn meters so that you can outrun whatever team is there. Queel needs to be the fastest. Then Bando is going to go into his poop stance. Then you do all the AoEs. Now Dash is a fun addition to this, and I don't have any smugglers to go with him, so not putting his Omicron on because he's not going to lead. But what he does do, he does his Seeker missiles, and he does 15 hits. In 5v5, he does 15 hits to your opponents, which is just going to turbo boost all of those whistling birds and everything. And so I need to slow him down. I think I made him 315 as well, and he needs to be slower than my Bando. Keep in mind the Bando wants as fast as he can be while keeping as much offense as he can. So 272 with an offense arrow is pretty good. So I'm going to need to make my dash like 271 so that he can go after Bando. It's going to be weird trying to slow him down. He's only gear 12 and he's already being slowed down. And keep in mind, Dengar is a really super power to use with Bando, because Bando wants to generate those whistling birds. He does that via instances of damage. So when Dengar does his AoE, just keep in mind he does physical damage to all enemies. So that's 5 whistling birds, and then he goes above and beyond, and it just does extra physical damage 2 times to random enemies. Doesn't even matter that it's like, even if it's like 1 damage, it's each, that still gives 2 more whistling birds. So it's kind of nice. Next we have my bounty hunter team. Now I don't have Fennec here, and like, now that we have so many different teams, I wanted to put Bando close by, because if you keep him for offense, and I do put him on defense sometimes, and I keep him for offense, depending on what the Lord Vader comp is, you may need Bando to help assist the rest of your bounty hunters, in which case Aura's not going to be invited. You're going to have like Bosk lead, or you're going to use, well, Bosk isn't the right one against Lord Vader, sorry. You want Fennec lead for the most part, but you want Bam there sometimes if there is Maul, so that he can interrupt Maul's sequence with nicely timed damage immunity, etc. And then, Zam is going to be there usually, unless Bando's there, because Bando doesn't... you basically swap Bando out for Zam. Zam gives everyone a lot of speed. I really like this Aura team, though. This is the version, I take out really high relic Darth Revan teams, just because Zam adds all that extra speed, and as long as you have your Bosk, Grief, and Mando clocked right, which I have a calculator for that. If you're one of my patrons, you can sign up and join the Discord. You can access all of the cool stuff, but I have, among them is a calculator for this. I'm also going to be adding a calculator for for troopers, so you guys can see if you've got everything clocked right. That being said, Zam throws the equation off, and you want to make sure that Mando goes after Bosk has already taken 2 turns. You have to do the math for it, guys, or it's just totally worthless. Alright, next we have my Gidme team. So this is such a weird team, guys, and you need people who are supports. So what happens is Moff Gideon does his move. He reduces everyone's turn meter except for Padmé. Under Padmé lead, no one's turn meter is reduced, but he reduces your enemies, and then he gives everyone Well, he gives all support characters 100% protection up, which translates into a huge number of courage stacks. And so if you have a fast Padmé and a fast Gideon, then you can end up doing a lot. Like, so that's why I have a support in R2-D2 here. I have a support with Ayla Sakura here. She's just support. She's not an attacker. You can also do Cup if you wanted. I just put like a random other Galactic Republic team because they're still going to get some courage, or character because they're going to get some courage. So this team works really well. You do need a kind of fast Gideon and a faster Padmé, but it works nicely. It's pretty fancy, I would say. I guess Gideon could be faster than Padmé, come to think of it. All right, next up we have Bad Batch, and these guys don't have good gear, but you guys have seen, if you've seen my streams, I just destroy so many high relic teams. Like they want to hunt like first order squads. They want to take out teams with separatists in them. This squad is a little bit dicey against like General Grievous squads, though that can work as well. Just keep in mind, Omega is very important as part of this squad. You can put Shaak Ti in and have not that much drop off, but Omega does a lot of important things, and Shaak Ti is frankly needed for other counters. So this team is good. You want lots of Zetas. I mean, they're a heavy investment squad even at low gear, but this team will take out full Relic 7 teams without batting an eyelash, assuming they have them. I actually don't remember, but you have to assume, but maybe that's what was defective. Maybe that was what made them bad. They're like, wow, no eyebrows. Okay, so we're going to designate them as bad. That batch is just no good. And then someone was like, but can they like kill droids? Like, doesn't really matter if they don't have eyebrows. Like, I agree, you want to segregate them and keep them separate from everyone, but I don't know what I'm doing with these scenarios, guys. Sorry, but yeah, okay, so this Traya team, I feel so excited. I finally got Nihilus up to gear 12. This is a long time coming, guys. This squad should all have relics, frankly. They're super nice, and so you could put Talon with them. I mean, but then I'm always tempted to put the Omicron on her. And frankly, I mean, at gear 10, you just want her to hide. You don't want her to do anything. You just want her, yeah, to just, boost the team a little bit. Doesn't really matter. I threw Sith Trooper here too, just because I don't have a great use for him yet. Because I don't have a great First Order squad yet. I mean, he should probably be with the First Order, but he can go well with this team. I mean, really, it's the Sith trio, and then it's 2 others, or it's the Sith trio and no one else. That you can put him on defense, offense, whatever. Trey is also a really, really nice plug-and-play character, actually. One of my very favorites, in fact. Alright, so we also have this crew team, and I'm starting to work on First Order, guys. So, this is an okay squad. Probably Red Trooper does add to it, though he's only gear 12, or gear 10 versus gear 12 minimum on all of them. You want the Zeta on Hux, both double Zeta on crew, and probably the Zeta on OG Kylo. This team does pretty well. Yeah, I don't have Supreme Leader Kylo yet, and on defense, they'll hold someone up. I mean, they're only Relic 1, so I don't really do that much, but they can do okay, I guess. They're okay on offense as well. They do okay things sometimes. Just keep in mind, Hux wants a full First Order team. You can't be like, oh, hey, you know who would work well here is Thrawn. It's like, yeah, Thrawn is great. He's probably way better than First Order officer for a lot of reasons, but then that makes it so that Hux's negation of turn meter gain does not happen anymore. Alright, next up, we have an Omicron Ackbar team with an Omicron Leia team. I want to see Machine Gun Leia in 5v5. I'm super excited to see how this works. 3v3, it was great. It was dominant. I killed 12 different really good teams with it, I think. I don't think it lost last season in 3s, but I'm excited to see. I have a Relic Stormtrooper Han, which is probably irresponsible for this account level, because he's not required for any unlocks other than Commander Luke, which he didn't need relics to get that. So he does have his Zeta, and I've considered trying to get him to be one of the weakest. I think I'm going to try to see if I can find some like defense mods for him instead of protection, but we'll see. At Relic 1, he's still going to be a little bit squishy. I want to just see, though, because he just keeps doing his taunt, and he gains a lot of turn meter. He reduces a lot of other turn meters. Like, he does a lot of really cool stuff. I love his kit, in fact. It's a lot of fun, folks, if you really look at it, and I really feel like, in a way, Omicron Ackbar was like built with him in mind. Like Princess Leia, he's like, yeah, sure, you can. I don't want to do an Ackbar imitation, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry for even threatening to do that. But you'd think that Princess Leia is the one that wants to go with Ackbar, and she is. She's great there. But Stormtrooper Han just goes so well with Ackbar and Leia. This is such a good tandem. And then I do have a Relic Bistan now. I'm like, you know what? With his frenzy and your ability to take turn, like, I think he's going to actually end up being really being really good. Ironically, he's going to be like one of the best modded characters, just because he needs 6E for his ship, which is the only reason you want to gear Bistan at this point, guys. And then, you know, you can put some other rebel in here. I like the revive from Cholo though. And otherwise, the other thing is, guys, you want Leia to be fast. You want her to go first. So remember, Ackbar's giving her 25 more speed, so she's going to be almost 360 speed. Very, very fast Leia. Pretty fun times. Alright, Nest is for now going with Kira. Now I'm getting to the GP level where I don't always find a team that I want to be able to, or that I'm able to solo with Nest. And honestly, Relic 3 is not enough. I need to get her to Relic 5 or something. But the great Relic shortage, guys, it's just ongoing. It sucks. It's no fun. So, something like that. Nightsisters, you just want Nightsisters to die and have Daka and Asajj just not die. The rest of them can keep dying, and it boosts them. Really like this team, as you know, I was inspired to do this by Brill Council. Shout out to him. Just keep them all low gear, and they'll just keep dying, and that boosts the two important ones, and they keep reviving. It's a whole mess. So good on offense, good on defense. On offense, they're going to drop 5 banners, almost guaranteed. Geos, I put them on defense because I don't like to use them, but that's just because they're under-geared for where I should be on this level of my account. They do some good work, make your Brood Alpha fast, and, you know, you can take out some teams. I put them on defense just because sometimes people don't have the right team to deal with them in the back, and then I just get lots of holds. That people underestimate this team, guys. It's a decent team still, especially at this GP. It would be nice if I had a little bit more red here and a little less purple, you know. All right, so I made a mistake here, guys. I put the Omicron on Chirpa, and I did, like, I'm not even willing to make my Paploo super fast. Oh, I need to put a mod on him. We're not going to do that right now, but Paploo needs to be fast. He gets 25% hidden bonus speed. So Chirpa, you know, boosts that speed a little more, and theoretically, if Paploo can go first, then he starts the turn meter train. So that always happens, but these guys don't hit worth a damn at gear 11. And I mean, they don't even have a lot of gear 11 pieces on them. So if you want to have effective Ewoks, guys, with an Omicron, I would highly suggest not being like Xerath and putting some actual relics investment on them, so that they can do some work. Otherwise, they're like, hey, we're going for, oh, we're dead anyways, because we're not hurting the people we're hitting. All right, Jedi Training Rey. We're almost done here, guys. So we have Jedi Training Rey here, and so the one strange thing that I'm doing, I'm putting Droideka here instead of BB-8 or instead of R2D2, because R2D2 is with that weird Gidme team, remember? And the thing is, BB-8 gains a bunch of turn meter based off of how many droids are on the team. It's not how many like resistance characters or whatever, and it's not because it's R2D2. It's because so it gains another 8% turn meter. So you just want, honestly, like, you can do a 4 droid team with Rey, and BB-8's going to be super fast. He's going to gain a bonus, 32% turn meter. So just keep that in mind, folks. BB-8's moving up in the world, though. He's not going to be with Jedi Training Rey for super long. Like, he's got a few different teams he's going to be on. So stay tuned for that. Finally, I just have a list of misfit characters that could be stashed elsewhere. So Fennec goes with Bounty Hunters. Boba can go with that BAM team pretty easily if you don't have Dash or you want your own Dash team. IG-88, same thing. You can also go with a Grievous squad because he his Zeta lets everyone who has target lock, which there's a lot of target lock on that team, ignore, like, immune to healing. So super nice. Biggs actually goes on that Mon Mothma team. A lot of times on defense, if people are using Iden against you and you have a relic Iden or Mon Mothma team, Biggs can disrupt them so much because he takes so many turns that Mon Mothma team is just a huge pain for Iden. Finally, Sabine can go with the Mando team, or with the Maul team if you're fast enough. So, if Maul is fast enough, or if you just need her in a pinch. She could also, I'd like to see her on the Ackbar team, just to see what she can do. That being said, folks, this video's lasted for way longer than I ever plan on, but, you know, going through, I think this is 27 teams this time, just takes a little bit of time. So what teams do you like to use in 5v5? I would love to hear you guys. Please help me mount the algorithm. Hit that thumbs up button or whatever, you know, make a comment in the comments area. Do both. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. Share this video with your friends and family. Subscribe to this channel using your spouse's phone, just so I have more subs. And no, I mean, it does help though, actually, guys. Everything to help us mount the algorithm is super appreciated. So let me know, is there something I missed? I'm excited to see what this does. We're going to be facing people with Datacrons, and I want to see what we can do to be able to mitigate that. I mean, I think we're going to be fine-ish. I don't think Datacrons are going to be hugely, substantially different for this account. That being said, folks, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zereth prevails. And so does Professor X. And so do you for watching my videos. I appreciate it, guys. Take care.